everyone, and welcome to episode 75 of my Guild Wars 2 Let's Play series. For today should be a fun episode, as it is a normal Let's Play episode, but hopefully this video should serve as kind of a guide, more of a walkthrough through player versus player, where I'm excited to explore this pillar of the Guild Wars 2, basically the entire game, where there are three major pillars. There's PvE, which is the majority of the content, but there's also player versus player and world versus world, the latter which I will explore in the future. But if you want to follow along with me, you can watch the entire video, and if you want to watch like a specific section of how to get into a player versus player, check out the table of contents down in the description, where I will walk through different things. Where player versus player is actually unlocked at level 2, where everyone in the world in PvP is scaled up to like a level 80 scale, and they have access to everything that they have, as long as they have the expansions for each specific type of weapon or elite specialization or whatever. But you don't have to have the expansions in order to play through player versus player. You can just play with what you have. If you only have the base game, you can play with the base game stuff and you can do okay. Where I do have access to the expansions, but since we have not made it to any of the expansions, I want to go ahead and play with some core builds, which there are some actually pretty powerful core builds, though largely speaking you would want an elite specialization, you would want an expansion in order to play through PvP. But since we are only level 66, we can actually do PvP. As I said, it unlocks at level 2, where we have this icon right up here, this PvP button that we can press, which opens our PvP menu. And we can see a lot of things from here, but first I want to go ahead and enter the PvP lobby, which is the heart of the mists. And if you are someone who used to play Guild Wars 2 back in the day and are returning now, you may recognize that this looks a little bit different than how it used to look back in the day, where it got a revamp. I think it was right after Heart of Thorns, or was it right after the Path of Fire expansion released, where we are entering the mists, which is a very important lore location and is kind of like an area that the developers of Guild Wars 2 can pull from just to create whatever their heart desires. So it's a very great tool for that type of storytelling, where we are basically going to have a variety of different arenas that we can fight in and areas that we could explore if we wanted to in the entirety of the mists. And it's primarily for player versus player and world versus world, but there's also a lot of PvE stuff that goes on here as well in different parts of the mists, where the heart of the mist specifically is only for player versus player. So this entire lobby area is going to serve our purposes for player versus player, and maybe I'll explore a little bit of this lobby towards the end of this episode just for fun. But as we load in, we get a lot of stuff, where we just got this achievement to begin the Ascension journey, which is to begin creating a legendary PvP back item, which is going to be very nice to have if we wanted to have some gear in PvE, and it kind of just looks nice in PvP. Where we have this entire player versus player achievement category here, where we have achievements for specific maps, and then we have the achievements for these back items, and then we have achievements just to play through player versus player and to win matches and to kill people. And there are a variety of other things that we can look at here, including some stuff that is player versus player adjacent but is more just fun activities, where I got 2 pieces of mail, where we have this letter right here, which is basically telling us about the build interface. You can pause and read that if you want. And then we got this item about transferring your equipment to your wardrobe, which is another letter that might be important to read if you want to pause and read that as well. But here we are in player versus player in the heart of the mists, which if we zoom out, we can see a few different maps. And then if we come all the way down here, we can see some world versus world stuff actually. But we are going to stick to this area right now at the Hall of Memories here in the heart of the mists, where the first thing that we want to do is to come into our hero panel actually, and we want to come to our build, where we have this build here, and we also have our equipment right here that we can look at. But a very nice thing with player versus player is when we come up to here, we can see this button right here that we can press that will just take us straight here, and we are going to have this special user interface right here, where this looks different than a lot of other stuff. And we have an amulet that we can pick, which is basically going to serve as all of our armor stats. Instead of having like individual pieces of armor, we're going to have like a set of armor that is bound to this amulet, and then we are going to have a relic, and we are going to have runes, and then we're going to have our normal weapon sets, and we can pick sigils in order to modify our weapons a little bit. Then when we come down to the build here, we of course have all of this stuff where this is like my PvE build. So maybe I will go ahead and type PvE right here, and I can go ahead and click on this template where we will have a brand new template that maybe I'll rename to PvP, and we can have that there. And then maybe when I explore Road versus Road, I could have a Road versus Road template as well. Where player versus player is very fun because you can do a lot of build crafting here. You can come up with a variety of different like combinations of skills and traits and stuff that you can use in a match, and you can try to like counter like other specific enemies that you're fighting against, or you could come up with just like fun gameplay mechanics that you can play with in a match. But if you're not someone who enjoys build crafting, which I enjoyed every now and then, but largely I just like to pick up a build, we can go ahead and pick a build, which is going to take me to tab out of the game and to go to a website, which I will link my go-to website for PvP builds down in the description, which is called metabattle.com. But there are a variety of other build websites that you can pick at as well, where Metabattle has builds for raids and open world and fractals and Road versus Road and PvP. So I'm going to scroll down to Guardian, and I'm going to click on Guardian PvP to take me there, where we have PvP Conquest. Now, when we are looking at the builds, there are a variety of different icons that we can see, where there's like all the trait lines and skills and armor and stuff on the right side. But I'm going to go ahead and pick a build that requires only the Guardian profession. It doesn't have like swords for Willbender, or it doesn't have an arrowhead for Dragon Hunter, or it doesn't require the little like axe head icon for Firebrand. Where I am going to go ahead and pick the Guardian Radiant Greatsword PvP build, which is basically a build that just deals like a lot of burst damage, and we are probably going to have a miserable time here. But I'm going to go ahead and copy the template code, because we could go one by one, or I can go ahead and type in a chat, which I actually don't have a chat for this. I'll go ahead and throw it in my guild chat. No one else is online right now at this time of day, where we have this Guardian build here that I can go ahead and click, and it's going to apply to the build template, and I'll apply it to the PvP template, which I think I will then have to rename the template to PvP again, since I just overrode my template there, where then we will have our equipment that we can go ahead and come into our PvP build, and we can go ahead and select everything that I need. So I need a Berserker amulet, so this is definitely going to be a very Berserker like based build, where we're going to deal a ton of damage, but we're not going to have a lot of like opportunities to defend ourselves. Where I actually want this, and then over here I can go ahead and pick Brawler, where I actually need some weapons for this build. So we can come to this weaponsmith here, and we can just buy some basic weapons, which these don't look good in like player versus environment, but it doesn't matter for PvP. We can go ahead and just pick one up here, where I want a focus and I want a sword. So let's go ahead and buy that. And then a focus is alphabetical, of course. I know my alphabet. And we can go ahead and come back into our PvP build here, and I'll go ahead and throw these in. And then free of charge, I can just pick some sigils. So now we got a build with Berserker Amulet, and we got a Sword of Focus and Greatsword with these sigils. And I got the Rune of the Warrior, which actually gives us some health, which is nice. And a Relic of the Brawler, which is going to increase damage for a duration when granting protection or resolution to ourselves. So we're going to be using a sword and focus and a greatsword with these abilities: a Litany of Wrath, a Contemplation of Purity. So these two things are going to be very nice to heal us. And then we have this movement ability here, Judge's Intervention, and this movement ability plus an Aegis with Advance. And then a very nice ability in PvP, Renewed Focus, because it makes us invulnerable for 3 seconds. But we have to be careful because it prevents capture point contribution, which capture points are important for player versus player. All right, let's go ahead and come back to our PvP panel here, and just to quickly go through all this stuff, we have like our game history and our stats right here, which this is a fresh account and it is a blank slate for us, where we have this league here, which is only for competitive player versus player, which is not really something that I like to do, because if you're somebody who doesn't really enjoy toxicity, player versus player in general, both competitive and unfortunately not competitive as well, is a pretty bad environment when it comes to toxicity, where there's a lot of, let's say, unsavory people. So if you don't enjoy playing with said unsavory people, player versus player is probably not a game mode that you will enjoy too much, which is basically the only reason why I don't play more player versus player, despite me actually enjoying the game mode itself. But then we have tournaments here, which you can participate in tournaments. If you have a group of friends or allies, you can go ahead and build a team and go through a tournament. We have reward tracks where we can pick a reward track, which actually might go ahead, let's just pick this one, where we can go ahead and get this mini try Asa, which is relevant for something else in PvP, but this is mostly just like something that we can work towards as we play through player versus player in order to get some items. And then this is the said relevant thing for Stronghold, kind of an offshoot of player versus player that we can play through. And then we have this game browser here, which is going to be really interesting for some people, but this is basically like custom servers that players can make, and you can like play outside of like the normal like matchmaking, where primarily we see these used for daily servers, which we see right here, as well as like 1 versus 1 dueling servers. But we can go ahead and come up here to the main page where we have play unranked queue size 1 through 5 and compete queue size 1 through 2, where we must reach PvP rank 20 to unlock this arena. So we can go ahead and just queue for this, where it says 2 minutes and 38 seconds. So we can go ahead and sit and queue for a little bit, and maybe we can just explore this area a little bit. Where we have this entire area right here, which is basically the most occupied place in the Heart of the Mist, where we just have a bunch of vendors. We got a banker here, and we got a trading post over here. We got some of the competitive league vendors right here, and like the weaponsmith and armorsmith that I talked to, so you can pick up some gear to use. But then when we come back over here, I can just waypoint to the PvP lobby, of course. We have this very cool area where we have this wall of champions, which is actually very, very fun because this shows Guild Wars 2 esports, which is not really a thing anymore, but is a thing in the past, where we can look at like this year where Denial Esports Europe won the championship, and I think I watched that live. And there's just a bunch of like other options here where we can see the authorized shoutcasters, where a lot of people should know Jebro if you've spent a lot of time in player versus player, but there are a ton of other people around here that you should recognize as well. But if we come up here, we can see a really cool thing where we can see the winners of the monthly tournament, where they have statues and their name above them, which I think is really cool. But unfortunately, this is not a really competitive thing, because if you're somebody who enjoys competitive like games, player versus player in Guild Wars 2 is probably not the game for you as well. Similar to how like there's a lot of toxic people, there's a lot of like win trading and like match fixing that goes on in player versus player. So if you're trying to get like #1 in the world or whatever, you're probably going to have to deal with like a legion of bots, which is a little unfortunate and really kind of sad that that actually happens. But let's go ahead and go over here where we can actually use our raptor. And there is a massive jumping puzzle in this area that I might come and complete one day. But we have kind of like the main entrance right here where we have a portal to Lion's Arch that we can go ahead and take to return to Lion's Arch if we wanted. And a very important thing is we can actually go into PvE and we can queue for PvP while we are doing like tasks and stuff in the open world, and we can go ahead and get some like experience that way, or like work on map completion or work on events. You can stay in PvP queue, but I believe if you like switch maps, if you go from like Queensdale to Kessex Hills, it kicks you out of the queue, so you have to stay in the map you are in. Let's go ahead and come over this way, I suppose, where people who win like monthly tournaments, and I think like there's a few other parameters, will unlock a special item that unlocks a convenience pass, which I've never been up there since I've never won a monthly tournament, but it's kind of a cool thing for people who do that. Where there's also this like little PvP arena down here in the lobby that we can go ahead and enter, because I want to get this point of interest of the arena, where we can see a lot of stuff going on here, where we can surrender if we want to leave. But there's just a lot of players fighting, and I'm suddenly not feeling very confident with my PvP abilities because it's been a while and I'm playing a new build that I haven't really played before. But I like to believe that we'll be okay. We can surrender, which just instantly kills us. Actually, I thought it was going to teleport us out, but that just kills us like that. But we can also like just hang out down here and we can just watch some random fighting going on, where I don't really know what like the player set rules are for in here. I'm not sure if it's like only 1v1 or if it's like a free-for-all. I'm sure it changes throughout the day as different players are just down here messing around, but it's kind of just a fun implementation, just a fight in the lobby while you're waiting for PvP. But then we have 2 more waypoints over here, and this is basically the training area where we have siege training for road versus road and combat training. So let's go ahead and come to the combat training location, and we can go ahead and explore this place, where I was planning on exploring the Heart of the Mists at the end of the episode, but here we are exploring it now as we are in queue. Where if you're watching this video all the way through, thank you so much for watching, and we will be able to get into this game soon enough. Wish I could just like AFK for a bit, but I think it's fun to explore while we are waiting, especially since this is like a brand new location that we haven't really seen anything like this yet, where we are basically suspended in the middle of the air on a bunch of floating islands. But we have some golems that we can go ahead and shrine against, and I feel like I did not do that much damage there, where we can go ahead and kill that target golem like that, and it will respawn right afterwards. Where there are actually quite a few areas around here that are very beautiful looking, and where we have some more golems over here, including this one moving around, and then we have this staircase over here, which I don't really remember where this staircase leads, but it's very cool looking. Where our match is now ready, so we can go ahead and click accept, and we can continue exploring later on, which when we accept, we are going to get a pop-up assuming all 10 players in the match select ready for the match, where we can pick one of 3 maps, and I'm going to go ahead and pick Battle of Kyhlo, and basically everyone will pick from the 3 maps, and then there will be a percentage wheel here where the wheel will randomly spin and it will pick a map based on like the percentage of the votes. So there's a 40% chance for it to be Battle of Kyhlo. There was like a 20% chance for it to be Revenge of the Capricorn, and we were here in the Revenge of the Capricorn. And as we load in, my heartbeat begins to raise a little bit because it's been a little bit since I played PvP. But each map is basically the same idea, where we have 3 different control points around here, where I'll go ahead and click accept, where hopefully nobody flames me for being on a core build, and I'll go ahead and just click on my main chat here, and if there's a lot of unsavory comments, I might go ahead and blur that in the future. But we can see there are 3 main control points here. We are going to have a home control point here, we're going to have a far control point, which is the enemy team's home, and then we have a middle control point, where the basic idea here is we are fighting over these 3 control points, and then each map has a different layout for the control points, and each map has a different unique special specific mechanic that is going on. So in this map we are going to have a bill that will spawn in between all 3 of the control points basically, and we are going to want to capture that bill as many times as possible to gain extra points, where we are going to have our first engagement here. Let's go ahead and try to get an early CC there, and I'm definitely going to be struggling a bit. Let's go ahead and just pop everything that I need right now, and I was able to defend while my team was able to kill basically the entire enemy team here, so that was a good first encounter. And if you have no idea what just happened, that's completely okay, that's completely understandable, and if you're new to like MMORPGs, and if you're new to Guild Wars 2, it's definitely very, very confusing. But basically it seems like their entire team tried to like focus on me for a moment, and then I basically popped a bunch of defenses so they couldn't kill me, and then my team was able to obliterate them because they had no defenses because they were like all focusing on me. I think that's like the general idea of what was going on there, where we have captured our home and we have captured mid, and I'm currently capturing their home base, so we are getting a nice lead in points here, where you gain more points depending on like how many control points you own, where there's no enemies around here. So I'm going to try to come this way for a moment, where I can use some of my abilities to get over here faster, where we can go ahead and try to help out here, which it looks like we might be losing this. So maybe I'll try to kill this person really quickly. I have 1 Aegis and I got feared out of it, and now I'm going to be struggling, and I'm definitely going to die here, which the enemies rallied because our friend there died, which is okay, and we have lost mid. So this is definitely a little bit of a weaker build, but it does deal a nice amount of damage, and I definitely do best with this build if the enemies are not focusing me, it looks like. So I was able to deal like quite a bit of damage there, but they were able to focus me down. where we need to be a little careful here. I might come towards home, and I might start angling myself towards the middle a little bit. I just want to be able to like teleport back to home if needed, where there's an enemy capturing their home. So I might, let's go ahead and gank this guy really quickly. Let's try to kill him. There we go, got him down. Okay, let's kill these two players. We should be able to, there we go, we rallied our friend there. Let's go ahead and pop, oh, he's healing up because he has the Herald ability. Okay, let's go ahead, do this. Okay, our friend is going to go capture their home, and then we have the special control point that is opening up right here that we can go ahead and capture ourselves, and there is nobody around us, so we can go ahead and just sit in this control point. And if we capture it, we are going to have the opportunity to get 25 points, which is just going to help us out. And then the next time this rolls around, if we have captured this, we can get 50 points and they can get 25 points. So that's just going to help out with our goal of getting to a total of 500 points. I wish there are a bunch of players down here, so let's go ahead and teleport right onto this enemy. I'll go ahead and just try to block any of their projectiles there for a moment. Alright, let's try to group them up here, stun them, and then spin to win. That's what I like to see with Guardian. There we go. Deal with that toy maker there. Athos of Lomhurst is on a rampage. Which it looks like everyone abandoned mid, and it seems like we are kind of dominating the competition right now. Where I'm going to go ahead and come towards mid. Accidentally had the other person targeted. Alright, let's go ahead and just contest this control point, because as long as an enemy and an ally is on a control point at the same time, neither team can make progress. So since this player was capturing the control point, if I stand on it, I can go ahead and just block their progress, and we can go ahead and just like stall the point until we clear the enemy off of the point, and then we can go ahead and capture it ourselves since nobody is on this point. So we can go ahead and just hang out here. This person says that's it. They kind of just like sat here as I like stabbed them with a sword a bunch of times, and now they seem to be upset, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and come here. Let's try to group these two up maybe. Where I'm in a lot of stuff right now. Oh, I never used that, so I can use it now. Oh, okay, he used his Herald ability. We're just going to heal him. Let's go ahead and maybe just pop that defense. Let's go ahead and pop that defense. And then let's try to spin on this guy maybe. Alright, there's 3 of them dead now, so let's go ahead and clear them. And then we can clear this one, and then we have a 4th one here, which we can press F to finish an enemy, of course, which is just going to instantly kill them. But we do have to like channel without being able to do anything else. So there's like a certain balance to be had where you want to try to like prioritize like defending yourself against multiple enemies or trying to like instantly finish like a single individual enemy. I saw this player coming around here, so let's go ahead and cut him off right here. Where I'm not exactly sure where this guy's going. He's leaping back around to the base again. And it looks like maybe he retreated to like mid or something. We probably want to decap our home base. So hopefully that player does that. And then let's go ahead and switch our great sword so we can get over here. Let's get ourselves some swiftness, and let's go ahead and prep ourselves to be able to take the bell, where it kind of seems like we're losing some control of the map, but we're doing okay right now, where we have this mid fight going on right here with the bell. So this is going to be kind of a big fight as they contest this point. But so far it seems like this team has been pretty good at like the team fight gameplay right now. Let's go ahead and give everyone Aegis. Okay, we got the Herald down. There seems to be like one of their strongest players actually. And I'm taking a ton of damage, so I'm just going to go invulnerable for a moment. And I'm going to try to res our ally here. See if I get CC. There we go. We got our ally up, which is huge for us. So we have this Necro that we can go ahead and deal with. And let's go ahead and kill this guy. There we go. And I went down here because I basically opened myself up to attack for a second there. Or let's CC that guy, and we can get back up just like that. And if we capture this control point, we win the game just like that. So there we go. Our first ever game of PvP, we won, and I instantly got to rank 3 in PvP. So let's go ahead and get some rank up rewards, which is fun. And then we also progressed our reward track. That's the word I'm looking for, our reward track. So those are basically the basics of player versus player, where there's also a PvP game mode known as Stronghold, which is kind of like a mobile-like game, and maybe I'll play that in the future, but I don't think I'm particularly interested in it right now. It released with Heart of Thorns, so maybe I'll check it out when we get around to Heart of Thorns, where I'm not sure how much like PvP gameplay I want to do on this channel. This might be the only episode I do, or I might do more in the future, but I had a decent amount of fun doing that. Where let's go ahead and take a moment to just like check our achievements, and where we killed 15 players and we won a match, and we won a match as a guardian, and we gained some rank points here. So we have like a special ranking system in player versus player, where you, instead of experience, you gain rank points, and as you level up rank points, you get these chests that we can open up, which just have random items in it, which these items aren't ever really valuable at like the lower ranks, but I think they kind of go up a little bit as you gain rank. But that is not like the primary way you want to make money through player versus player. Where player versus player is not really a way to make a ton of money, but it's just like some nice bonus items you can get. The main way is picking a reward track here, where you can get like some reward tracks that actually give like a decent amount of gold. And then through the league system, we have, as we play competitive, we can gain pips by winning and being like the best player on the team, and a few pips by losing, where we can go ahead and just gain like 5 gold if we got to the end of this little pip track right here, where we can see all the way down at the end we get reward 6 of 6, where we get like 20 gold plus all these other items, and then we get 20 gold every time we repeat this. So you can make a decent amount of money from like this method of player versus player. But I had a decent amount of fun, so let's go ahead and play one more so you can kind of just observe maybe another map. And if you have any questions about player versus player, go ahead and throw them down in the comments, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Where this is obviously not an intricate guide, this is just like a basic overview of what player versus player is like. But let's go ahead and queue this, where actually I am queued for all modes, so maybe I'll just keep Stronghold in there and we can go ahead and try that out. Where ArenaNet, the developers of Guild Wars 2, recently launched a beta test for a new mode called Push, which is basically kind of like pushing a payload, where both teams are trying to push it towards the enemy base, and you're like trying to like make progress on the map and whatnot, similar to like Push in Overwatch, for example, and other games as well. Where there's also 2v2 and 3v3 arenas that happen every now and then in between regular 5v5 like arenas, which is fun. And then there's also like a 5v5 map that's like a death ball map, where you can just like kill each other, and it's like whichever team has like at least one player left standing wins, similar to like 2v2 and 3v3, but kind of like the OG. But while we are in queue, let's go ahead and explore this area, where we have some NPCs that are going to fight us with abilities that a specific profession has. So here we are fighting a Mesmer, and we can go ahead and get polymorphed into a Moa, and then I cannot finish this enemy until this goes off, or I can go ahead and press F and get this cool little animation here. And we can drive a spear through his heart. Very brutal, but that's how it is in the mists. Which we can come down here and see a massive group of golems right here, which allows us to mess around with like some AoE abilities. So maybe let's come in here really quickly. I only launched on one of them, but we can spend a win. We can hit 4 or 5 of them at the same time. We have an indestructible golem there, and then there's a fun little bridge up here that we can run up. So let's go ahead and come up here, where we have a necromancer over there, and I see a guardian right over there, which we are a guardian ourselves. If you look down here, I'm trying to remember, I think it's over here actually. We can see a blue lord and some casters, which are some NPCs from the Legacy of the Full Fire arena. So we can fight some of them, and I thought somewhere there are some more enemies like that. Oh, down here. Oh, I just killed myself, I think. No, okay, can we dismount like that? Nope, okay, let's waypoint here. So really quickly, we have trebuchets here, which we have played with some trebuchets, and oh, this is interesting. We can target where we want to go. Did they change trebuchets? Or is this just really weird? But we can use some trebuchets here, and we can fire at the enemies over here because hypothetically there's an enemy right there. Let's go ahead and wait on the cooldown here, where we get a very special view of the world right now. But we can launch that, and we can just launch a flaming boulder at that random island right there. Hopefully there's no like birds or anything on it. And we can go ahead and deal damage to any enemies that happen to be there. Where there is a sign right here, which says something to New Crichton, and there's an arrow pointing down. I don't really remember. I don't think there's anything down there to teleported me back up. But to come back over here really quickly, we have a map called Forest of Niflheim, where there are 2 enemies on it, and it's similar to like creeps in a MOBA game, or more specifically kind of similar to like Baron in like League of Legends. I'm trying to remember, or Roshan in Dota 2, where both players can fight this enemy, or both teams can fight this enemy, but the team that gets the last hit will get the score, 25 team score plus a buff, so you can like steal kills from the enemies. We got Svanya there, and we got the Chieftain here, where we have Spirit Watch, Revenge of the Capricorn, Battle of Kyhlo. I don't really like any of these 3 maps, but I'll pick Battle of Kyhlo, which a lot of people have picked as well. We did just play Revenge of the Capricorn, so I would love a different map. I'm crossing my fingers. Let's hope for Battle of Kyhlo. There we go. We got Battle of Kyhlo, and we can load in here. Where Battle of Kyhlo as well as Legacy of the Full Fire are very popular maps because the bonus mechanic in these maps are basically like non-existent. So it basically kind of removes that aspect of the game, and you can really just focus on the control points. And since we won our first game, I'm expecting to lose this game, so let's see how this goes. Where, just like Revenge of the Capricorn, we have 3 control points here, but they are in a bit of a different layout, where this is our home right here, and then we have mid, and then we have far. But this map has 2 trebuchets that you can use to launch at like one of the control points to like deal damage to players on the control point, and then the trebuchets can get destroyed, so then you can like bring supplies in order to repair it. And basically this mechanic is useless because the trebuchet is less useful than just going onto the point yourself and like dealing damage yourself. Where oftentimes at the start of a match you will want to say like where you're going, where if you're like somebody who wants to go home, you can say I'll go home, where you can just like type home into chat. But also there's like this door right here that's going to lead to home, and nobody else is going that way, so let's go ahead and go off on an adventure by ourselves. And this is probably going to be a miserable experience, so let's go ahead and just run up here really quickly, and we can capture this as soon as possible. And let's keep an eye out where there's that scrapper right there who's kind of poised to come towards us. And they had 4 players go mid and 1 player go to their home. We had 4 players go mid, and then I came to my home as well. And it looks like, let's go ahead, teleport up here, which is very fun. And let's go ahead and just try to contest this control point, where there's this 1 sniper on our team right now. Where let's go ahead and get him down. Let's get this guy down. Oh, he just healed up so much. Here, let's go ahead and finish this guy off. We defeated 1 enemy in this arena, so let's go ahead and finish this guy off too. There we go. We got 2 kills, but the enemy team also got a bunch of kills. I'm dying to something. Oh, there's a necro over there. Okay, there's a lot of players here. So let's come back up here. Let's retreat over here. And yeah, I try to run a little bit. I think I'm in the control point, so I'm actually contesting the control point right now. I could maybe try to heal a little bit, or I could at least try to deal some damage. And we died there. So this definitely seems like a game we are set up to lose right now, as they are just barely ahead. But of course, you can come back from a 400 point deficit, of course, because if one team went 400-0, why can't you? Right, there's this Daredevil, which Daredevils are very good for capturing like points because they can move around the map very quickly. Let's go ahead. Try to stun him there, but it did not work out for me. And I'm taking a ton of damage here. Alright, let's just spin to win there. Oh, we like both took a lot of damage here. Okay, this is going to be very interesting. He has a lead on me, but I'm going to have this heal. Can I use this quickly? There we go. That gives me a little bit of an edge. Too bad he's not on me. Can my player... Okay, there we go. My friend helped out there at the very end, so I won that fight technically. Yeah, I got a +1 on me. So we won this fight here. Team versus team. This player is coming to sit on the control point, so let's go ahead and leave. Where it seems like they have a good grasp on their home. I just teleported up here. Let's try to deal with this guy maybe. Yeah, I should definitely try to heal before I use my Expender Win ability. Alright, let's come down here. Let's go ahead and just body block ourselves like that. Where, oh, he was able to get me down from there. That's interesting. I can heal up here though from our friend. Hypothetically. Alright, let's keep an eye on home base. And let's keep an eye on mid here.
Clock tower captured.
Where we've captured these 2 points. So if we can hold these 2 points for like the rest of the match, we'll be okay. Oops. Okay, I was able to get in the point before they were able to decap it. Okay, I have an Aegis up. I'm just like recapturing this basically. Okay, we were able to down this guy. So something we can do is just leave him in downstate for a bit so that he's not able to get back into the fight for longer. Alright, let's go ahead and tell our friends we have this guy here with us. Where I can move during that ability now? I didn't realize that actually. Where I'm taking quite a bit of damage. I'm gonna have to give up some of the capture point here. Where we were able to demolish this guy. He has a flesh worm over there that he can teleport to if he wanted. Where we need our friends to go back this way. This person's just sitting. Okay, so we have equalized the game now. So let's recapture this quickly. There, we killed that guy. So I think if we really just focus on home and mid, and if we try to win our team fights, we'll be good. So it's probably good to like contest far. I want to come back over here because this person didn't fully capture it. Plus there might be somebody that comes here in a second. Let's just get these last 2 little ticks right there. 3 ticks. And then let's come back up here because I can easily teleport around the map with this build. I have a lot of movement options, which is very nice with my sword and my great sword and my judge's intervention, and then I can get Aegis. Alright, let's go ahead. Can kill this guy really quickly. I'm just going to keep an eye on the map. I'm going to loop back around here so I can go ahead and run back up here. Just let that player kind of bleed out. Let's go ahead.
Enemy captured the mansion.
We can try to chase a little bit, but maybe that's a bad idea. I'm just going to heal. We're not going to get too many heals there, but that's fine.
Clock tower captured.
Alright, we've captured the clock tower. Let's keep an eye on home. So if you just sit here for a bit, we're probably going to be in smooth sailing. I can basically instantly teleport to home from here. I just have to make sure I keep an eye on it. So I can go ahead and fight in mid here. Oh, what's happening? I accidentally targeted this person. We can kill him really quickly. There is this one thief right here. So we're going to let this guy bleed out. And then I see the one scrapper right there who might try to help out here. Where he has quite a bit of damage, but so do we. And we can pull him back this way. Where I got rooted here, which is actually kind of unfortunate. So we have a 2v2 going on right here. This player is leaving. Let's focus this thief down maybe, because he's on me. There we got a nice spin there. He used all of his dodges, and then I pressed Gritzer too, where we now have all 3 control points actually. So we are kind of getting to a position where if we are able to get towards the end of the game, we could just defend 1 control point, and we could probably win by that. But let's go ahead and try to lengthen our advantage here. So let's go ahead and come up this way. Where I was expecting this build to be kind of bad, but it's actually really, really good. So that kind of just shows how powerful core builds are, where, you know, they're not elite specializations, but they are still contenders, where this is obviously unranked PvP and these players have varying levels of skill, but it's working out well for us. Where I'm currently in charge of defending both home and mid, as the other players on my team are off doing other things, but that's kind of okay. If I just hang out here, keep an eye on that, I can defend both of these points, unless two different players come and attack both points. But we have a pretty big advantage now, so we can go ahead and just hold this point for now, and let's try to defend it against these players, where there are 3 of them. So this is going to be bad for us. Let's do this, give up a little bit of the control point, and let's try to spin to win again. Let's pop all of these abilities. Let's go ahead, block projectiles and deal some damage along the way. Here I am very low on health. Hopefully, I was hoping I'd go down here and then this person finishes like that. But I just went down again. Oh shoot. I accidentally targeted our ally. But we currently have 3 control points, so when we respawn, let's try to get to home really quickly, where this player is going home. So let's keep him like this. Let's target him. I'm just pressing T to target. Where he did uncap this control point, which is unfortunate for us. And he is like using everything to try to get me off of the control point, but that's okay. If we can win this control point back, we could probably sit here for the rest of the game and then win the game. So that person's running, so let's go ahead and just sit back while our teammate chases him down, and we really want to capture this control point. We really want to capture. This guy's coming back because he knows his team loses if he doesn't win this fight. And oh, he just demolished. Where we can now sit on the control point and just hold him off a little bit. Where I think I made a decent amount of progress there. I kind of blocked him. I want him to like capture this control point for a split second. But this guy is, he's healing up now. Let's try to get back to home quickly. So let's go ahead and respawn. Let's come this way. Let's go ahead and use this. And then let's try to target this guy, where we have captured the control point. So we now basically win the game unless a miracle happens for the enemy team. So let's just hold on to this point. And 2 more points. So like 1 more second and we win the game. So there we go. I was top healing and top defense, which is fun. And we reached rank 5, which is fun. So let's go ahead and accept all these rewards. And these were actually 2 really fun games, where we can see us, the winners here, where we're right here on the right, and I got top healing and top defense there. And we got some more loot, which is fun. Where let's go ahead and return to the Heart of the Mists once again. Where now we have a bunch of stuff in our inventory. Let's go ahead and just pick all of this up. Where I was hoping to get a Tome of Knowledge so we would gain some experience, but it looks like we did not, which is obviously okay. But we got a ton of other items that I can go ahead and just deal with in our classic MMORPG inventory management mini game we got going on. Right, let's take a look at our progress now that we have played 2 games. We played some stuff in the Battle of Kyhlo, so we progressed these achievements, and we played some stuff in Revenge of the Capricorn, so we progressed those achievements. And then we have our PvP conqueror down here. So we killed like 25 players, won 2 matches, gained a bunch of rank points, where we are now rank 5, which is rabbit rank, the beginning of rank, where every 10 like rank levels or whatever, you ranks, I guess, you gain like a new tier, where we start with rabbit and then it progresses to like deer or something next. And as you like finish the tier, you get a special finisher, which is fun. And then it kind of just like changes what your icon looks like in like a certain location. I don't really remember where it's at. But we also can look at our home tab here, where we have our game history, where I recorded this on January 3rd, and this episode's coming out a long time from now, I think. But we played 2 games, one that lasted 7 minutes and one that lasted 10.5 minutes, and we won both of those games, and they were both in unranked arenas, where our favorite profession is Guardian, where we have this fun little wheel right here, where since we've only played on Guardian, it is only blue for Guardian. And our favorite map is Battle of Kyhlo, because we played each map once, and I think this is just the most recent map we played, so it just puts it there. Where if you played Revenge of the Capricorn again, it would show a favorite map as that. But that is basically everything here in the Heart of the Mists, and I thought I would spend a moment at the end of the episode, like I said earlier, to explore, where we can explore the special jumping puzzle here, where this is actually kind of like a decently challenging jumping puzzle that starts with this cool sword right here, and we have these llamas around here, where we can find 10 lost llamas around the entire map, which will require us to have gliding, I think. So we can't really complete that achievement right now, but we can get some of them from the jumping puzzle, and I think we can complete the jumping puzzle without gliding, because gliding and mount use is currently disabled, and it has been a bit since I've been over here. I thought I fell there for a second. So let's go ahead and just try to work our way through this jumping puzzle, where we can climb up here. And this is just going to take us around the PvP lobby a little bit. Now we can come somewhere. Oh, do we want to go over there? I think we want to come through this like bulwark here, this rampart rather. We can jump there. There we go. Having our swiftness here is definitely very nice for the jumping puzzle. And then I think we can just jump down there, and then we're going to want to drop down here. I remember there's like a lot of dropping in this part, so let's come up this way, and then do we go backwards here? Up here. I'm just following the rocks right now. And now we're up here, so maybe to this like tiny rock, and then oh, I almost slipped and fell up here. Okay, we made it up a level. Let's come to this rock really quickly, and then I have no idea. Is it, do we drop over here? It looks like it. And then we have right here, and then okay, this is definitely very confusing. Okay, I think we can then jump up here. I remember doing this when it like first came out, and I think I've done it a couple of times since then, but it's definitely been a little bit. Where I see another llama up here. Let's make this jump just like that. There we go. We have a lost fancy emperor llama. Wish we can progress this achievement. We now have these 2, and then I think we want to climb up here to gain some height. Let's come up this cool spiral staircase, and then I think we want to jump like this. Was this what I was supposed to do? We come over here. Oh, it looks like it. Let's give ourselves some swiftness again, and then that was a big jump, and then this is a big jump, and then this is a stressful jump. Okay, stressful. This is kind of more stressful than the game itself. Let's go ahead and climb up here. I think we are approaching the end. Can climb right here, and then all the way around here. Okay, there's nothing on this platform itself, but we can climb up to the top here, and if I recall correctly, here's the grand chest. So we completed this jumping puzzle. We can open the chest, which I don't think there is an achievement to complete the jumping puzzle, but there are all the llamas around here, so we can progress or come back into the future to progress this achievement, where we have to get all the other llamas located around this entire map. Where I got these 3, and I don't think there's another one around here. I don't see one on that little island over there, and yeah, I don't see any others. So I think we have completed everything here, where we did get a few bonus items for just getting to this chest, which is fun. And that is going to do it for PvP, where I really enjoyed playing through this game mode, where I had 2 fun matches. Remember to check the description if you want the build and the website that I talked about earlier when I was talking about builds. And hopefully this guide helped you a little bit if you're new to PvP, to kind of like understand PvP a little bit better, where the gameplay itself is definitely very confusing, but to get into it and the basics of the game mode overall is relatively easy to get into. I'm going to go ahead and exit the PvP lobby, which is going to take us back to Sparkfly Finn. And I'm going to go ahead and call this episode good here. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions about PvP, go ahead and leave them down in the comments, and I will try my best to answer. Where when we load it back into PvE, I am back to these build templates, which are our PvE build templates. So I guess they aren't shared in PvP anymore. I think that's actually a change that happened. Oh wait, I didn't change the equipment at all. We have our builds right here. So we are automatically back to our PvE build. And then if we load back in, hello, we will be in our PvP build. But we will continue our adventures on this character at some point in the future. Where I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the road to Tyria. Goodbye.